My name is Adam Hill. I am the founder of Extra Life Fitness, and what my mission is, and what the mission of Extra Life Fitness is to help beginner triathletes and beginners in fitness in general to navigate their journey from the beginning of their program and throughout the course of their triathlon career. And with that said, the reason I've created the TriFit program is to help absolute beginners get into the sport and navigate their first 12 weeks and beyond. It's a program that is really a first of its kind. It's a program that really starts everybody from the beginning. It goes through the absolute basics. I've done surveys and asked questions about what beginners really want, or what they're confused about, or what they wish they knew when they got started. And taking my own perspective as an adult onset beginner, as an adult onset triathlete, someone who started at the age of 33 and had no athletic experience whatsoever before that. The only athletic experience I really had before getting into triathlon was burning out on stupid and silly 90-day fitness programs that were far too intense and far too painful, but sadly are advertised to everybody. So the thing that differentiates this program is that it's made to be easy. It's made to be simple. It's a simple program, really just giving you what you need to get started, not going into the minutia and the complexities of all of this other stuff that satisfies maybe that top 10% of what you may want to know, but again, it covers the 90%, the simple 90% that is going to give you the best results. So that's what this is made for. So that the triathlon program itself, the TriFit program, is a 12-week program for beginners. There are two courses that are in it. There is a foundation course, which will help people get from absolute beginner, know nothing, to a sprint triathlon. That is the goal. Within 12 weeks, you'll go from non-athlete to a sprint triathlete and finishing your first sprint triathlon. And that is going to, basically that experience of getting to that finish line is going to be a new starting line for you to continue to progress on your path, on your journey of triathlon fitness and this amazing lifestyle. The other path is a path that is made for people who may have some experience with fitness, some experience with endurance sport, or running or biking or swimming or things like that, or they just want to challenge themselves a little more. And that one brings them to an Olympic distance triathlon. And I'm giving you the brief rundown here, and I'll share with you in a few minutes just kind of some of the ins and outs and walk you through the program itself, because you may just be asking, what the heck is this all about? But I will show you that in a second. But in a sense, I just want to tell you why I created this, and the benefit that I hope it's going to serve for people. Essentially what I see in fitness, in the fitness industry, having gone through it myself from an absolute beginner, somebody who didn't know anything about fitness or triathlon or anything in general, I see an industry that is obsessed with this idea of no pain, no gain. I see an industry that is obsessed with the superficial belief that you need to look good, or you need to lose weight, or you need to do this super restrictive thing, like super restrictive dieting or super painful exercise in order to succeed. And I want to share with people that you don't need to suffer to succeed in fitness. You don't need to suffer to succeed. In fact, it's the exact opposite. And that's what I found. It was a revelation. It was a revelation to me when I discovered that exercise and fitness doesn't have to be painful. I don't have to go out and run and think to myself, the only reason I want to run is because somebody's chasing me. I want to actually go out and enjoy it. And that is possible for everybody. The amazing lifestyle of triathlon, when I got into it, I discovered that it was a lifestyle that everybody could be a part of. When I watched the Ironman videos of the Ironman World Championship, I saw people crossing the finish line that never, ever would have believed that they could do it. I saw people who were overcoming amazing challenges to do that very thing. And it pushes the boundaries of what we can achieve. And it's the reason that picture behind me is my favorite picture in the world, because it shows what humankind is capable of when they have the right kind of mindset, which is the first real philosophy of Extra Life, is that everything starts with an empowered mindset. So this program is first designed to help people overcome the challenge that's right between their ears, their own minds. And in getting that perspective and starting to implement things in your own life that will empower your mindset, will push you to achieve. So this program focuses on mindset. It also focuses on simple nutrition practices. I'm not going to give you a diet regimen. I'm not going to tell you to restrict calories. I'm not going to tell you what you need to eat. I'm going to advise you on the sense that you want to develop a healthy relationship with nutrition. Not do anything restrictive. Not do anything that's going to cause you to feel any kind of pain or anything like that. And likewise, the final element of this program is easy aerobic exercise. And that's all it entails. Is you're going to go out easy and it's going to feel ridiculously easy. But I'm going to tell you something that is one of the not so secrets of the fitness industry that will change the way you do everything related to exercise. And it is that easy aerobic exercise, things that don't feel like you're really putting out much effort, make the biggest difference in your physical fitness, in your endurance. For elite triathletes, 90% of what those athletes do is easy exercise. You don't feel like you're actually exercising. You don't feel at the very beginning like you're breaking a sweat. But the key is that when you're doing that easy exercise, when you're going at that aerobic pace, and we use things like heart rate and breathing to monitor our effort levels, you are actually experiencing a physiological change within your body. You're conditioning your body to burn a higher percentage of fat for fuel versus glycogen, which means that you are building efficiency, you're building energy, and you're using that energy to increase your overall output. So, and one of the things that does by increasing your energy, I hear a lot of people, one of the biggest issues people have with getting into any kind of fitness or triathlon, say it with me, I don't have the time. And that's just a complete myth, because everybody in the world has the same 24 hours in a day. And because they have those same 24 hours in a day, they choose to fill them with what they can. But I'll also tell you that you can create an abundance of time. You can create as much time as you need, because time is really just a product of two simple things. It's a math equation. Time is a product of energy and efficiency. And if you increase either of those, if you increase energy or if you increase efficiency, you're going to increase the amount of time you have. And that's exactly what this program, the TriFit program, helps you do. You're building energy throughout aerobic exercise. You're not depleting it by going out too hard and following the philosophies of the fitness industry by, following their no pain, no gain BS philosophies. You're actually building energy through easy aerobic fitness. And that is giving you capacity in your mind. It's giving you a meditative exercise experience that is actually giving you capacity to think more, to do more. And even though you may be taking up a half hour to an hour a day of exercise or whatever, you're still increasing the amount of time you have, because you're filling that time more effectively, which brings me to the other part of that, which is efficiency. Efficiency comes when you do one of three things: you consolidate, you delegate, or you eliminate. And if you do all of those kinds of things from your schedule, you'll be able to do more in that time. And I'm not going to get into the weeds on that, but I just wanted to kind of outline that as one of the things that tends to prevent people from getting into this sport or any sort of fitness in the first place. I don't have time. It's a myth, and you can get over it. How? By just doing it. And so this program serves to ease you into it. Who is this program for? Well, this program, as is defined in the title of the TriFit beginner program, is for absolute beginners. It's for people who are open to the idea of having faith that going easy is going to produce maximum results. It's for people that really, really want a transformative experience, who want deeply the same thing that I wanted when I first got started, but couldn't find it and couldn't figure it out, which is, I wanted a highly fit and a highly healthy lifestyle, but I was just impeded by all of these unhealthy habits that I didn't know how to break. So it's for people that want to break those, because in this program, we're going to show you how to do that through different habit forming techniques, different mindset techniques. And it's going to be composed of a lot of different videos and activities that will help you to not just get fit and healthy, but to really work on that mindset and improve as you go through that. So that's who it's for. It's for absolute beginners. It's for people who have struggled with fitness in the past, who burned out on programs that promote the six-pack abs or what have you. It's for people that want to achieve. It's for people that want to have an achievement-oriented experience. And triathlon is perfect for that because there's finish lines. You run down. I will tell you that there's nothing more amazing than the experience of finishing a triathlon. I remember finishing my first triathlon, and it was one of the most transformative experiences of my life, because I realized at that moment that I could achieve something that I went out and I thought that I would never do. That is another one of the beautiful things about triathlon, is that it is specifically designed to push us beyond our perceived limitations. And that's all they are, perceived. The only limitations that exist are in our own mind, and it's a healthy, and it's a transformative, and it's a safe way for each of us to try and push past our boundaries in that way. Another thing that does, in addition to helping us become fit and healthy, is it levels up our mindset. It levels up our ability to grow beyond what we think is possible from ourselves. So with those things, that's really who it's for. It's for people that want to achieve. It's for people that want to transform. It's for people that have burned out and been burned by fitness programs in the past. And it's for people that have the discipline and are willing to achieve that and to put in the work. Even though it's easy exercise, it's still work. And anything that's worth doing is going to take some work to have done. But this program was specifically designed so that anybody can do it. Anybody can go out and start with this program, and this will level them up. This really is a program that's designed and is your best opportunity to get started in the sport of triathlon and to finish that first triathlon within those first 12 weeks. So I'm gonna recommend that you just give it a shot, and if you're still not really sold on that, I've released my prep week on my Instagram account. If you go to the highlights, you can actually go through and watch all of those videos. And I'm certainly open to any questions you have on that. So I've talked about what this program is conceptually, who it's for, and now who the heck am I, and what right do I have to put this out there? Well, I've touched on a few of those things. I've been a coach for a little over 5 years now. I've been a triathlete for almost 10. And when I first started, like I mentioned before, I was a non-athlete. A year before getting started, I was the first day I got sober. So a year after getting sober from alcohol, I started to wonder to myself what else was possible for me. What else could I achieve? So I put down the cigarettes, and I remembered at one point in my life that I'd watched the Ironman World Championship on television. I was thoroughly inspired by this amazing sport, where people who just, I felt, or at least by observation, had no business doing a triathlon. They were in their 70s, they were all going through all sorts of challenges. And I remember seeing Rick and Dick Hoyt, pushing them past the finish line. The son had cerebral palsy, and they were finishing an Ironman, and it was just incredibly inspiring to see that kind of thing. I remember John Blaze, who had ALS, who a year later was unable to even stand, let alone do a triathlon, finished the Ironman World Championship that year that I watched it. And I was just thoroughly inspired. And I thought to myself, there was this little flicker of, what if I could do that? What if I finished that? What if I could be inspiring my friends and family and finish a triathlon, finish an Ironman, go to the Ironman World Championship? And just as quickly as that thought came, my mindset told me at that moment, nah, you can never do that. You can never do that. And that stuck with me, because at that moment, I didn't think about Ironman again until I got sober. And it really, really weighed heavily on me at that point, because once I had that year of sobriety, which was something that I never thought that I could do, and I went and I did it. And once I had that in my mind, my mindset had shifted, and it didn't take anything, tremendously dramatic. Nothing else had changed except my sobriety, except this difference in my mindset, where instead of saying I can't do that, instead I entertained it and I said, well, why not? Why couldn't I do that? You have all these people who are doing that all over the world, and they're no different than me. And so I went out, I started learning about it. And one of the first challenges I had was not the exercise part. It was finding reliable information on how to get started. There were so many different things that were being said on different triathlon forums that said, well, you need to do this many high intensity workouts, blah, blah, blah per day. You need to do this kind of diet to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And it was all contradictory and all conflicting. And I just didn't know where to start, because I'd gone through, I went down that path before. I tried to do these different fitness programs, and I'd end up burning out because it was just too much for me as a beginner, until I ran across Phil Maffetone, and I ran across Mark Allen and his experience with winning the Ironman Championship his first time. He'd struggled in the Ironman World Championship. He was always burning out, and he was always falling short of beating Dave Scott, who was at that time and during the 80s the best triathlete in the world. And Mark Allen just couldn't beat him. He couldn't do it. He could most times just couldn't even finish the race, until he met Coach Phil Maffetone, who taught him a valuable secret, which was, if he trains aerobically, if he trains with heart rate, and if he does most of his training under this aerobic heart rate that is super, super easy, then he's going to develop the endurance and this foundation to eventually, do as the best that he can in a triathlon, in the Ironman World Championship. Sure enough, after he, with discipline and consistency, followed that path by slowing himself down by about 2 minutes per mile on his run, by doing everything very, very easy. That year in 1989, Mark Allen beat Dave Scott, and he beat him and set the world record that year. And then he went on to win it 5 more times, won the Ironman World Championship 5 more times. And that experience, that knowledge, changed everything for me. And it immediately got me to go out and get a heart rate monitor. It immediately got me to follow this idea, but it wasn't an easy path. There was still a lot of trial and error, and there still wasn't this, a lot of guidance as far as, well, how do you find, an open water swim venue and things like that. So that always stuck with me, and gradually, through trial and error and a lot of embarrassment over the course of my triathlon career, I finally advanced, and I finally got to the level where I competed in the Ironman World Championship, that I qualified for it, and I competed in the Ironman World Championship. If I've never told you about that, look me up and I'll tell you about it. Anyway, enough bragging about that, but that's kind of the genesis of why I wanted to create a program that helps absolute beginners, that's simple, that goes at your own pace, and helps you to set that foundation toward achieving your dreams. So I hope you'll join with me on that. Now, as kind of move forward, I just want to show you, since we've kind of gone over that. If anybody, certainly if anybody has any questions, post them in the chat. I'd love to answer them. But I also want to give a quick demo on what this product looks like, because you may be wondering, well, what's it all about? So I'm going to share my screen if I can. Bear with me. I don't know why this is always a problem, by the way. Everybody knows how to share screens at this point, but we always get confused when we're in the moment. So forgive me. Here we go. But here is, here, if you can see it, is essentially the website that pops up for this. It's on Kajabi, which is a platform that helps for courses. And I thought that a course platform would be the best way best platform for a program like this, because what it is in the beginning is it really is a course. The simple and the easy part of triathlon is going out and doing the exercises. Those aren't really, there's nothing really challenging about that. And part of the problem is that many coaches put so much focus on specific workouts and here's how you got to perform this workout. In reality, no, 90% of the workouts you just have to be consistent. You have to go out and do them easy. But again, most of the beginning challenges come with the mindset, with the knowledge, and with the experience, and trying to get over a lot of those things. So I wanted to put in a course format to do that. And this is pretty much the homepage for all that. There's a little bit about the program. There's a little bit about me. And there's a little bit more about how this program works and all that. You feel free to go through it. This is one of the clients that went through the beta testing phase of Extra Life, TriFit, Eric Beach. He was able to bring his pace down from an 11:45 minute mile when he first started the 12-week program to below a 10-minute per mile heart rate at the same heart rate, which means essentially at the same effort level. He was able to improve his pacing in just 12 weeks by about 2 minutes per mile. I had a very similar experience when I first started out using heart rate training. And it was very profound because I found myself not getting injured anymore. And I found myself not getting burned out or anything. In fact, I felt like I was more energized, like I had more energy, like I was happier. It was just a very, very profound experience. And Eric had that same experience, as did many other athletes that I've worked with over time. So this is the pricing of it. It's the introductory value is $197, but for people who are joining in on this webinar here, I have a special code that I'm going to share in the chat. When we're closer to done, it's going to give you 25% off of this price. So stick around and learn that. And then I'll just tell you, and then there's, what's included. There is a prep week. And during that prep week, we, well, I'll share a little bit about that later, but there's a prep week that kind of introduces you to how, just how to start getting into the habit of moving your body, and starts teaching you some of the concepts of triathlon before you even get started with swimming, biking, and running. I understand that a lot of people have at least one intimidation when they get started in triathlon, whether it be the swim, whether it be the bike, or whether it be the run. There's something that they're just not into. And helping to get over that hump by learning about it is one of the helpful approaches. So prep week is just designed to get you familiar with it, get you in the habit of moving your body, because once you get into the habit of it, once you give yourself those 20 or 30 minutes a day to actually start doing things, you're putting yourself in that habit, and you're going to make it a priority. So that's really the first step, is just to get out and move your body by walking and doing those kinds of things. Then the first 3 weeks of this 12-week program essentially serve as the foundation. You'll start learning some of the core disciplines of the transformative fitness lifestyle, and you'll start learning how to use heart rate monitors and breathe effectively, and learn about how to use your energy systems effectively, so that you can perform at the right effort levels. And you'll start learning at the level up framework, which is how we think of growing in triathlon, at least with the Extra Life program. I think about it this way. You notice that the whole theme of Extra Life is related to games. And those are some of the exciting things. When we were growing up, it was just so exciting to find that extra life when we were playing a video game. And, it always triggered with me the idea that in a video game, you're leveling up. You start off as one of these guys with a wooden sword and a wooden shield, and you can't do very much at that time. The idea of going up against the boss man, the end boss, who has the rocket launcher and the titanium armor and all of these hit points, that's just ridiculous. You can't do that. Yet the way our fitness industry is designed, it tells you that you should go after that right now by going hard or going home and that kind of thing. That is the attempt to appeal to everybody. But in reality, you just need to start where you're at. We need to meet where you're at right now so that you can level up. That's where the foundational principles are, so that you level up, so that you can keep building. You can keep building the tools and the resources, so that when you do face that boss with the rocket launcher, you're prepared, and that you can do that. But it's a process of leveling up. And then weeks 4 through 6, We're going to continue to build on that endurance and master your mindset. One of the, it's usually around the 4 through the 6 week range. If you've ever been through any fitness program where we start to get complacent, we start to say, well, like, maybe I don't need to do something this day, or, this is kind of getting boring. This is kind of getting dull. This is the key time where you need to keep going and you need to keep doing that. So we have a more intense focus on mindset during these weeks to help to improve on that and to continue to push through some of that complacency, and continue to do the right kind of work, the easy training, and do so with discipline. And then finally, or not finally, but in the next weeks, the 7 through 10, that's where you're going to peak as you approach your race day in week 12. Week 7 through 10 is where you're going to build to your peak levels of fitness coming up to that race. And that is where you're going to start getting a little bit more race specific. You're going to start learning more about how to prepare for race day and getting into the excitement of those kinds of things. Finally, week 11 and 12, that's the taper and the preparation for race day. This is where you start to scale back the training. And that starts to weigh a little bit on your mind because you start to think, maybe I'm not doing enough. And that's where a lot of people make the mistake of just pushing really, really, really hard up into the end. And then they burn themselves out at the end. These last 2 weeks are meant to scale back on the training so that you can rest, recover, and adapt. And as you do that, you're going to find yourself, getting nervous for race day. You're going to start finding yourself getting anxious. You're going to start thinking about what the conditions are. Here we talk about a lot of that. We talk about a lot of ways to approach and prepare mentally for race day as well as physically, because it's at this point that race preparation is more important than race training. So that's kind of the program in a nutshell. And I'll walk you through by logging in and just showing you what the program elements look like. So once you enroll and once you log in, you'll see that you have these 2 paths here. And this is essentially your platform. This is where you'll start off when you log in. You'll see that you have 2 programs. This one, Foundation Path, and this one, Olympic Path. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Foundation Path is the path you take when you're preparing for the sprint triathlon. It's easier. It's designed for absolute beginners who don't have a lot of exercise or a lot of fitness experience in their background, and they really just want to start from the beginning with the foundations. This is the simplest path to do that. Another great thing about triathlon is that there's multiple levels of it. So if you want to start off as simply as possible and start to get over those fears by leveling up, you can start with a sprint triathlon or even a super sprint triathlon, where if the swim intimidates you, you can find a swim that is, less than 1,000 yards, sometimes even less than 500 yards. And sometimes those swims are done in a pool, so it makes it that much simpler. So there's ways that you can level up that. And the first way to do that is this absolutely 100% basic program, which is the Foundation Path in this Extra Life TriFit program. The second one is the Olympic Path, and that one again is a little more advanced. It gets people to that Olympic distance triathlon, which you have. The Olympic distance is usually about 1.5 kilometer swim, something like a 40-kilometer bike, which is a little over 20 miles, and a 10-kilometer run. So you can see that that's usually a race that's going to last over a couple, 3 hours. It's a longer race, and you can certainly start there. There's nothing wrong with that. This program was designed to start at that path if you have a little more confidence in that, or even if you just want to get fit. Keep in mind, you don't need to race at the end of it, but I highly encourage you to do so, because having an achievement-oriented thing, having an achievement-oriented goal at the end of a program that you can work toward, that you can advance toward, and that can, make you feel accomplished, is going to hold you accountable to continuing on. So spend the money, get into the race, and sign up for the race. Hold yourself accountable to it, and then have the faith that you can get there. These programs were designed to get you there. So whichever version you're on, whichever version you choose, you'll have access to both of these if you purchase the Extra Life TriFit program. So don't worry about, buying the wrong one. You get access to both of them. And essentially they have the same resources, the same videos, everything like that. within them. The only difference is the level of the amount of training that you're going to be doing and what you're building toward. So let's go into the Sprint Triathlon one. This is going to be your homepage on that. So it's a very simple design that's made here. This button right at the top here, it says resume course. So if you've been going through the course day by day and you just want to get to that, that's the button you push and you'll get right there. If you want to learn how to navigate that, I've got a little video here on how to do that. So you can play it and it'll walk you through that process of getting started. Over here to the right, joining our Facebook community. We do have a private Facebook community for anybody who purchases this program. And I interact on there, and a number of the alumni from this program interact on there. And at this point, you know, there's a handful, a little over a dozen of us that went through the beta test program to go through that process. And that group is growing. And what I want that to become, and what that will become, is a community of empowerment, a community of encouragement, a community of accountability, so that everybody can be accountable to reaching their goals. Because this lifestyle is amazing, and it's the best way to appreciate that lifestyle is to appreciate it through community. So my hope is that if you join that community, you'll be able to find some empowerment, some encouragement, and you'll after about 12 weeks, you'll be able to share some of that encouragement to people just coming in through your experience. And hopefully you'll meet some local people, you know, be able to go on some group runs and group rides and all of that kind of stuff as that community grows. This is what the program looks like when we get into the meat of it. So you'll see you have the prep week here, and you have week 1, week 2, week 3, and all the way down. If you click on, you get to week 12. So all 12 weeks of this program are listed here, including 2 sections that you can access at any time that are also very important. These are additional instructional videos that you can access at any time. If you have any questions, like about you're starting to get on your bike and you're thinking to yourself, how do I inflate my bike tires? Or what do I need to know about the bike? Well, here it is. You have parts of the bike and a series of videos that lists all of the components of the bike and what they do and how to tinker with them in some ways. You have swimming focused videos like, do you need heart rate on the swim? Certain questions that I hear asked by beginners that, you know, that they don't know that, to be honest, a lot of the traditional coaches don't know to answer because they don't have that beginner mindset. So you'll learn a lot about that here, including a series that I developed called the 6 Steps to Getting Started with Triathlon Swimming. And this is not designed to make you Michael Phelps kind of swimmer. But that is what I see as a problem as well, is that too much emphasis in our swimming community is trying to develop Michael Phelps types of swimmers, instead of meeting people where they're at and just trying to develop swimmers from the very beginning, helping people to get over that anxiety and that fear of swimming and learn to swim effectively as a beginner to finish that, to build that foundation. These six steps will help you to develop that foundation of swimming. Also running and more biking videos to help with you know, how to do certain things on the bike and issues and all of that. So there's all sorts of videos on here and this list keeps growing as I continue to create content. That list will keep growing. Going back to the weeks, so you'll see what the weeks are composed of. When I click on it, you'll see that each week has an introductory video. So this introductory video is really your introduction to that week. Every week starts with one, and it helps you to just kind of tell you what to focus on during that week, and hopefully help you keep you motivated. And remember, there's only so much that I can do on a video to help keep you motivated. You have to engage. If you're going to join this program, you have to continue to engage in it. So those videos help you to at least learn some things about triathlon, learn how to approach each week, and that sort of thing. Also, each weekday has what you'll see is many days have a video and a workout. So you'll see that every day in that first week, just about every day has a video and a workout. That's because I've really front loaded a lot of this program with a lot of information, a lot of education, so that as you go, you're learning a lot of these concepts. And then as you develop those skills, the videos start to taper off a bit. And as you get through late into the later weeks of the program, it's primarily a lot more workouts and a lot more videos just trying to help keep you motivated and know what to expect for the week. But at the beginning, it's very important that you know things like the benefits of heart rate training and how to use that. So, talks about some of those benefits here, and you'll see a video on that. Same thing, how to train with heart rate. Once you put that heart rate monitor on, how do you use it? How do you interpret that data? What should your maximum aerobic heart rate be? Those kinds of questions are asked in these. And then also breathing. You'd never think about breathing being important to exercise or to any part of our life. And it's honestly something we don't think about a lot, but it's very important. And it's another thing that a lot of coaches miss. So I focus on these kind of fundamentals very early on, and they're very important to progressing as a triathlete and finding that empowerment. So that's kind of what the weeks are made of. You'll also see at the bottom here, many of the weeks have resources. So if I'm talking about, say, if I'm talking about during the week, I'm talking about how to set goals or some of these mindset things, there's going to be resources that go with that, and they'll help you to journal or keep up with a lot of what we need to do. So in this particular case, this is about setting SMART goals, SMART. So that's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And so I put together a SMART goals worksheet with the level up hierarchy here that helps you to identify what your goals are and then develop your own level up hierarchy. And I talk about the level up hierarchy in the program, but as just to kind of give you a little bit of info into what that is, tells you to put your dream up here. Think of your biggest dream. Think of what you want to achieve, whether specific, at least to this program. Think about it in terms of triathlon. Do you want to race in an Ironman? Do you want to qualify for the Ironman World Championship? Put that dream up there and know that it's achievable. And then it's designed to make you work your way backwards so that you can get back to where you're at now. Again, this program is to help meet you where you're at right now and level up. So this is how you level up toward your ultimate dream. You're creating that path, because if you can put a destination right here and you can put the where you're at right now here, well, then you have the 2 points. You have the starting point and the destination. All you need to do is map that out and figure out how to get there. Where you're at right now, you may have never ever gotten into a pool in your life. And what's the first step? What's the level 1 goal on that? Well, it's to get in a pool and get in the water and splash around a little bit. That may be goal 1 for you. It really depends on where you're at. But that's kind of what I get into a little bit in that discussion. And there's resources such as this on each week. So going back, and I'll show you a little bit more below the instructional videos. There is a resources page where you can actually access a lot of these resources. And like the videos, I continue to update this as I find more relevant information. For instance, there's a time management inventory. There's more information on what the macro cycle looks like. You'll learn about this. There's workout nutrition guidelines, like how do you know how to train with these kinds of things. So these kinds of things will help you to navigate that. So as you can see, there's a lot of information on here, and there's 24 weeks of workouts, 6 months essentially of workouts where you can start at the foundation and make your way up to an Olympic level distance triathlon. You can follow all these videos and learn everything that you need to know to get started in triathlon. You have all of these resources at your disposal, and all of that is $1,000. That is more than $1,000 worth of value, coaching value. I don't know any coaches that would charge any less than that for all of this information in 6 months of training. But In this instance, it's because I was able to put it into a course format and consolidate it into this format. I'm giving it under $200, and with the special gift, I'm offering 25% off to anybody who has joined this webinar. And so I will stop the sharing here on that, and I will put that in the chat. And I will also send that to anyone who has attended. I'll send it via email. But the code, the special code, sorry, I can't talk and write at the same time, so you're gonna have to hear quiet. This is the code in order to that you put in when you purchase it, in order to get 25% off that program. So again, I'm extremely excited about this program and what's in store for all of you who are just starting out, because this is a first of its kind of program. I don't say that lightly, because I've looked around. I've participated in triathlon for 10 years. I've been a coach for 5. I've heard the concerns of beginner triathletes. I've heard the frustrations and the burnout and the injury of people who push themselves too hard because the fitness industry tells them that they have to go hard or go home, which is completely wrong. We are here to change the way that people do fitness. We are going to make it achievement oriented. We're going to make it simple, and we're going to make it highly achievable for everybody. So I hope you'll join me on this journey, because it's this important to me. It's a passion. And I believe that the world can become fitter, healthier, happier through triathlon fitness. People are going to transform their lives through triathlon fitness. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. I look forward to seeing you in this program in our Facebook community. And until then, I wish you well. I wish you health, safety, and happiness. Happy training.